activate on Ancient, which is generally a map pick that for Sinners is a little bit on the weak side, let's be honest. Well, they're going to be running into a lot of issues, and all of those issues will have AKs firing back.
Well, Juan finding the opener over to Cave. Forzy boosted up and finding both kills. The trade seemed like it should have been easy, but that's the bomb spotted as well. They swarm this A bomb site. They're already stacked over, leaning that direction here for Sinners, and now 3 players to find still here for the Bad News Eagles.
Juan good for another kill over in mid before he's taken out. Synopsy's done a good job of making things competitive, but yeah, Forzy's double does look to be what has just basically sealed the deal. Forzy finishes out on 3, and remember, if he can activate in this game, you know, at least make that CT side more of a comfortable ride with the AWB picked up eventually when it does find its way into his hands. Yes, that's a big win condition.
Yeah, if he can get off to a hot start, that would certainly help. I think this is how it all keys off, and Sinners just never broke down their setup. You know, Forzy sat up there just trying to get his sort of one-and-done position to work out, and he gets far more than one. So, great news, great start here for Sinners in spite of the opening kill. It's pistols now for Brand New Eagles, one singular flash. Didn't fully invest alongside this, just this solitary D. Coming up, scaling with the flash, actually taking a lot of damage here on Sinners, but a healthy crossfire. Really well done here from Sinners, just tucking in. They realized that a couple of their players were blind, so just playing off one another, letting them reset, covering each other beautifully, no problems.
Really nicely done, yeah, on the bomb side itself, but now the question is, can they do it without the op up against BNE's full buy? I say a full buy, but that's with a caveat. They won't have too many Molotovs, and I'm actually not sure. Michael, is the aerial Molotov allowed? Like, you know the one from Spawn?
Aerial Molotov is allowed.
Okay.
It was, and is like certain tournaments were removing it. Blast was one of them in the rule set, but I think players kind of got together and said different standards, different tournaments. Bit confusing.
Yeah. No, definitely. That actually changes their default very heavily. Shock has had his life changed, as in it's been ending. B-Stick might be about to be reacquainted with that exact same fate. Forzy good for 1, but actually doubles up before he's traded out. Neofrag's also managed to make his way straight back to Cheetah, but a grenade should be the end of him. Now GXX waits for Zedko to start pushing through from the B-bomb side. Bomb can be planted pretty safely, though.
Had no support from Juan there, so a little bit concerned about giving up site control. Now moving in together. They do have Cave covered, Molotov onto Zedko as well, but maintaining composure over towards Long as well. It's all about timings.
And looks like GXX has found his. He's peeked out and got the kill. Makes it look easy, and so does Synopsy. Those double entries moving into the bomb site were pretty nuts when you actually sit down and look at them. The fact that the MP9 tries to contest at long range is always going to be a little bit difficult, but Synopsy turning around to react, that's great stuff. Ooh.
Yeah, also catching them on some utility timings. The B throwing jump nades and getting punished for it. Of course, it got there in time. You know, he was situated on A in the pistol and has been fairly mobile ever since, but in spite of that, still not able to keep a handle on things over on this A bomb site. Didn't really have much of a chance there in the clutch for Sinners. First rifle round, first gun round, and well, Bad News Eagles find their opener as well on this T side. You see a reinvestment here from Sinners and actually a forward mid setup as well. Boosted up, Forzy will pick it, and they can fall appropriately. They had the smoke down mid as well, so Bad News Eagles would have been a tough duel, a tough chase.
Look, we talked about how Overpass might have had some secret preparation going into it from BNE, but let's also not forget Sinners probably realized this is a comparatively weaker map in their pool, and they probably have put some work into it too. We'll just have to wait to see how true that speculation can be.
Probably weeped a few times, considering some of the losses.
Yeah.
Weapon.
That's alright.
And B bomb site being slept on. They do have a boost potentially lined up, waiting for the flash to fade. Neofrag can't spot a damn thing. Nobody actually peeking above it, not hiding into the sort of dark position. They've all escaped into cave. They are low here on Bad News Eagles, so it's not exactly healthy fights that they can allow the situation to develop, but a re-smoke long is going to make things a little bit more difficult.
So Synopsy should be able to find the first one for free. Misses out the opportunity. Shock just baits him out with a quick jiggle peek. A bit of an odd way of doing it, but Kill nonetheless. Zedko now making his way forward. Scenario as well now down. And it's only one Flutter who doesn't even want to try and contest this. They don't have a kit, those Sinners. It's going to be right down to the nick of time. Zedko trying to defuse the very end of it. Will have it sorted out, but Juan, I mean, if he sticks around, gets even one more kill, that round goes their way.
Hell, could have even lined up a spam from that position as well, so some theoretical chance, but realistically, 1-on-5 would have been very difficult, and I just assumed that they probably had a kid as well. But kind of a surprising kill to have given up towards the entrance of cave. You know, jumping up ledge with an MP9, wasn't even hard clearing into that cave spot and still just unable to convert. That's really what made it difficult for them sitting in that post plant. Suddenly, cave wasn't a safe haven for them to play that bomb out.
It was much more difficult for sure. Beanie managed to avoid the brunt of the utility damage, but can't find that first opener on the player spotted out. Flashbang and Neofrag peeks in. Forzy's right there with him. Makes this a favorable exchange, but the Molotov will mean he has to be forced right back. Doesn't want to give up the op. And doesn't want to give up cave control. We've seen how important that was, and Forzy will continue to maintain it.
Hell of a start. 5 rounds in, and he's already up to 10 kills. Only having that 1 death so far. He's loving life, moving all around the map. Been A, he's been B, been the rotating guy as well on that B contest.
He's been the journeyman.
Yeah.
What AK is that?
Only pushed him a mile. Terrible with skin names. I'm already bad enough with people names, to be quite honest. Good to see your face like a few times.
I might go over to CS Money and check it out later. You excited? Oh, boost up. It looked like Forzy was trained on the angle. Might have been slightly caught off guard, though. And with 40 seconds left, BNE are trying to make their way onto the bomb site, get a bomb plant in at the very least. GXX will not even find the kill because Zetko's made his way over in time to come through and assist the Opper. And staying alive, he'll give up his life for it on the trade, but Scenari on 15 HP, yeah, he might just be better off safe.
Yeah, tried to escape somehow. A path to the A bomb site could have been found, but B-Stick's there to stop him. A very, very brutal speed bump. Back to a low buy.
Those tire killers.
I'm trying to remember what the tire spikes or bike traps we used to
I don't know.
by police in hot pursuit. They try and lay one out in front of you.
I actually don't know what they're called. Technically, we just call them tire killers.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Either way, it's ground to a halt. Now, upgraded pistols and a lot of util here for Bad News Eagles, but overwhelming B6 not going to be so easy. Flash is perfect, though. These players are situated in cave. Synopsy just runs straight through the smoke, and he had no idea what was coming. Still, they can't get the plant down.
And Forzy shoots someone through the smoke. Smokes don't matter. Not in this game. Forzy as well with the USP. Just swings out wide. Gets another while he's at it. 12-1 and not too many empty calories on this burger. He's been getting the meat in.
Kind of mental that there's all that space creation as a result of, you know, barreling through cave smoke and fighting over towards long. But they still didn't have the safe haven to get that bomb planted. That was part of why I think they would have even spread out like that in the first place. They wanted to have a secure post plant, but to get into a post plant, well, you need to plant first. You know, it's name's indicative of that.
Yeah. Can't do a post-mortem without someone dying. Can't do a post-plant without someone planting. Makes sense. And here I thought English was hard. It's an upsee. Well, they've actually managed to get a fair bit of mid control in the meanwhile. There's only one player in Donut. It's Shock, and he's generally a safe pair of hands, and he's spotted the player out. Rigon not catching the man off, and Forzy as he backs in straight back to the A bomb site. He's got some backup as well. Shock's found one flat shoe while Rigon was getting up to his antics, and he's looking for more. Synopsy inside the smoke, though, can actually cheat past. Rigon's death is going to be very important, but is Shock going to be ready for Synopsy to be there?
It's a crazy timing to have, but Synopsy, I don't think he's going to be ready for Shock either.
Oh, Synopsy turns around, but Shock can still find him while the smoke is phasing.
If he somehow crept past him, if he somehow walked through that smoke through Donut to A, that would have been devastating for Sinners, but Synopsy wanted to try and find a kill. waiting for that smoke to fade. Now 2-on-5 here for Bad News Eagles, and they've reset over towards this cave spot. They're playing
Great
far
position
back
for
from
Shock.
Sinners.
Position for Shock to be in, even if he ends up going downhill, and he will reveal the intentions of BNE.
The lean over from Zedco as well.
Neofrag, peek out. He's spotted out first. Neofrag wanted to need to go forward, and when he does, it's because he hears Senna just gunning towards him. 6-1 Senna's excellent start to Ancient, one they desperately needed.
Yeah, and we talked about one of those key pieces being Forzy. We've already hyped him up for the fact that, hell, this guy's been everywhere. He's going to be getting double kills galore. Wasn't even needed in that round, really. But just being able to jumpstart the engine, I think, here for Sinners is an important note to make, because Shock was doing that all through the group stage. Forzy was kind of catching up to him towards the tail end of a lot of those games. He's certainly got more gas in him. Forzy's just so aggressive. And he just looks so much more comfortable in Ancient as well.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful shot onto Rigon in the meanwhile. Flashbang overhead to make sure they can't just keep on rushing in. And let's not forget, Michael, after this comes Overclass, and that is Forzy's paradise. If he can make it there, B-Stick, good for him that he can find the first. B-Stick's waiting and hoping that he can't just be gunned down. And one flat shoot too good on that Tech 9. Same with Scenari, who's now gone and picked up an AK. With cave control re-established, they can rotate back to the A-bomb site, and they're considering it. Remember, they don't have the bomb.
Now, Sappy main that whole time while they were scaling into the bomb site. If they realized they were going to get 2 entries as easy as that, they may have brought that bomb with them. But yeah, resetting. Only Zedco that they'll have to contest with. They're still so concerned about B.
Making his way over. Synopsy's down, and with this, so much more pressure onto the T-side players as they're looking to get a bomb plan in. There's a flashbang available for Zedco as well. Rotation has come through from Shock. He's clearing out Red Room to make sure there isn't going to be any late round lurking shenanigans. But the CTs are cheating back, and now that cheat's been cancelled because you still have Zedco over here. Nate goes down, good damage with it. A flashbang as well primed. But waits for his teammates to come through. They want to clear out Donut and make this a 2-pronged retake.
One playing from tree as well, a little off angle to try and play this post plan out, because Scenario is going to be in a very predictable position.
Time is ticking down. Sinners, flashbang, will catch out Juan for a while. Scenario's gone and Juan's all alone. He'll find the first one, but reveals his position, and Forzy's covering it off. Right at the nick of time, Sinners, oopsies, will be able to find themselves a 7th round BNE. It looked like they were in such a good position when Juan Flachu gets that first kill. They recover an AK. They've got cave control. It looks like they've done everything right, but just aren't able to get the round away.
Yeah, and this is a very similar looking round here from BNE in terms of the half buy, the way that they're sort of running into the bomb site, taking that cave control after the fact. But Sinners had less players there to deal with the initial rush plays. So really surprised that they're able to get the bomb site effectively trapped behind smokes. The remaining CT players couldn't really contest. I do think if they had that bomb, they just plant it there and then and see if they can play out the post plan. But not to be. Plan A didn't fail, or didn't succeed rather. Well, weirdly, Plan B did.
Neofrag goes down early. Forzy also this time hasn't gone aggressive, just a flashbang to keep them from just rushing them down. But look at how many CTs are here already. They're ready for the B-side push. And Rigon, that's a great nade, but it doesn't go deep enough to find anyone. And these smokes may separate, but the second they start to dissipate, it's going to be a problem. B-Stick hasn't swung out and can't swing out anymore. The bomb's been planted at the very least. B-Stick not smoked off entirely. That might even be a one-way working out for him. Spots out the first player, peeks out. It's Rigon who is gone. One Flatcher will trade, but the CTs can't make their way onto the bomb site despite having been here in force. Their forces are not going to be enough. Synopsy, first casualty, Shock. Here's the scope. GXX has been tagged down. One Flatcher has been brought down, and suddenly that bomb is open to be defused, but Forzy can't cover up from Shock moving in onto the bomb site. Scenari will find them both.
Oh, that double cave setup almost works out there for Sinners. Just waiting and biding their time for so long. Sinners had great attack avenues back into this. You're right, they had swarmed effectively as soon as they lost these opening fights. That's ridiculous from Juan as well to have found the spam so perfect. But Bad News Eagles going to be kind of the lucky stars in that it plays out that way. They take a lot of damage, and they lose a lot of life in terms of how many guns survive into this follow-up round, in spite of them finding a bit more success. They need consistency. They need rounds back-to-back if they want any sort of convincing argument for this T side. Aggressive move from Zedco. No one else really in time over on this A bomb site trying to rotate in. Shock challenging the AWP at distance, and he can't transition to the site. So still holding a numbers advantage. It's still a little back and forth, but down to 2-on-2 somewhat instantly. These kills are happening all over the map. Sin obviously does now realize that there's a path over towards this B bomb site. Bomb trying to make its way over.
I'm wildly confused about what happened after Shock dies. I will not lie to you.
Yeah, this kill's happening everywhere.
But I think Neofrag is wildly confused about what to do at this point onwards as well. The second the bomb goes down, we have to remember Sinners, their loss smoothness is not the greatest in the world. Which also means that I don't blame him for throwing a weapon away just to try and equalize economy. Seems like he'll pick up the op and try and save that instead though, but... I mean, Shock peeks out with his own flashbang, gets the first kill, commits even further ahead. I don't know if the call is just, hey, they're not going to be all together. It might just be another player there. We need a player inside. I don't know what the call is, quite frankly. So, bit strange, but I'm looking forward to seeing the replays to see what happened elsewhere on the map as well.
Yeah, also, I mean, he's going aggressive into A main on Zedco, so I think if you're going to go for an aggressive move like that, you're still a little concerned about maybe a donut player or a temple player as well. If you want to get aggro A, you have somebody as a fast rotate, but Sinners didn't have that in this round. There was just this massive hole that it suddenly opened up, and that's a massive concern. So I think Shock's just trying to maintain a little bit of control on the bomb site because they don't have donut. They haven't held on to middle as vehemently as they probably wanted to. Could have been split, could have just effectively had no handle on that site. So a bit of a desperate move, I will say that.
Is Neofrag not going to drop the op for Fozzy?
A little surprised at that. Yeah, that's... I mean, I'd even make the compromise Fozzy, glass cannon, Neofrag, upgraded pistol. That's...
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
Hell, even an MP9, he's got a lot of money.
He's the newest guy on the block, though.
Oh, good kill to find initially, and with this, the B site push is at least going to be disabled. There's an AK to be recovered if they lose too many players over here, and that is definitely going to be on their mind. But Shock with a good kill. Juan Quattro trying to cover from Zedco, but yet to reveal Forzy. He's going to be able to come in from behind and get another freebie, but Cineri just wastes his efforts entirely. Neofrag's demise also coupled in with it. False hope has now become a false start to the round.
Beastic get a cheesy kill. Smoke fading. Quan is low. And gone.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Knows where he is, though. Yeah, Ulp's just gonna find him straight after the fact. You feel for Forzy there. He's trying to play it cool, play it patient. Guys, they have no idea I'm here. And then he hears those steps rattling off behind him on Plat. And I think he realized the jig was up.
I believe the call is, don't worry, guys, don't worry. I'm behind them. I'm behind them. Never mind. They cleared me.
What the hell, bro? Good job dotting all the I's there from Bad News Eagle at the very least, even in spite of the fact they lose that opening fight. I thought it was going to get a bit scary, you know, it took some damage as well from those pistols. They have Jiggle peeking back and forth, headshot angles as well, difficult to deal with. Running straight through that mid-Molotov, the initial setup here from Sinners looking pretty good. Shock, can he escape with his life? May not even matter. B6 on a kill of his own over towards B, and they're just falling like flies here on the Bad News Eagle side.
Yeah, GXX will be good for one as Shock does aggress further into it. And there's a Molotov as well, but doesn't matter. Forzy is just able to stay his course, get the first. And Scenario, that nade's going to do some decent damage, I guess. But is decent good enough?
No, doesn't seem so.
What a
round. Winning ways. And hey, Forzy, just shy now 3 of 20 in the half. Wonder where he'll go this time. They've been changing things up, and a nice change of pace here from Sinners as well. Not only standing their ground on sort of that mid-floor position, but also getting aggressive B simultaneously. There's a lot of risk to be drawn there, but B&E clearly weren't ready.
Like, the only place Forzy is going is up, Michael.
Socks rising.
Definitely a bright future.
Yeah.
Flash over, first skill's already there. Peek out to try and get into a better position as well. He's gone back to cave, wants to maintain a position over here. There is going to be utility flying through from BNE, but Beastick inside the Molotov has to retreat to his smoke. He's so damn low, 3 HP. And one flat through as he's being tagged up, as he's trying to move into the bomb site. He's found 4Z. Beastick as well hits the deck. And now so much of it comes down to Neofrag, and he's been taken out. Shock on the sidelines, and now he'll be sidelined all alone versus 3. The full 4K required, and it doesn't look likely.
Aye. This is Tex. There's rifles alongside it, but Juan does so much with that Tech 9 closing the gap. Runs at them. And just so much damage being done by the Molotov onto Beastick. He just couldn't do anything sitting at the back of the bomb site, sitting inside of a smoke. He was always going to get spammed. Shock will even fall afterwards. Juan recovered an AK off a fallen CT. And we'll put a bullet extra into Shock. I mean, that's the third time now we've seen Bad News Eagle go for one of these scrappier, quick round moves over to this B site with these Tech 9 scaling in so quickly. And they've been, finding limited success. We saw them get the double entry at B, then have to run back A. We saw them jumping through cave smokes and then not being able to get the bomb down. But this time, they convert full force, and that's because Sinners are unable to get any sort of responding kills.
Look, the 8-7 is still very much a dream that is alive. Sinners, their economy being where it is, they need Shock to give us a magical deagle round. He's surely capable of it, but with multiple players already inside Red Room. What it out on one Flatcher at the very least. Zedco nearby trying to double peek. Zedco's good for 1, and 4Z pushing forward through the Molotov almost finds an opportunity for the double tap on the USB, but it's just not meant to be.
Synopsis holding ledge as well, so as they peek on out, they are both doubled up here. Oh, timing a little poor for Synopsis, but Neofrag now also sussed out. No problems here for BNE on the anti-half buy. Now last round of the half, see if it's 8-7 or 9-6. All in all, the recovery has been great here for Bad News Eagles, and I think that part of that has been due to the fact that some of these rounds 4Z has been able to be at the front of the action. All the time he was instigating, still being able to get double kills in from cave. The fact that in the pistol as well, he gets a 2-piece over at the A bomb site as well. He has been everywhere, but he can't be everywhere at once. What about the reads here for Sinners and whether they can figure out what's coming their way? Beastick lining them up on the fast B play. Another one of these success stories for Bad News Eagles, but they've taken so much damage. Neofrag taking the fight out in the open, full blind. 3-on-4. Bad News Eagles have a little bit of time.
Deep Molotov means a Beastick can actually move past this one. Flashbang will not catch him out either, so a one-on-one's going to be great for him to find a second opportunity right there. Ready to pick out. Beastick has basically given them this 9th round, unless GXX can be a hero, but a cape nowhere to be found. Beastick, a 4K to put him on 15 and put Sinners on 9.
Yeah, man, this guy has been playing sick. Beastick has been stepping up in so many moments. We saw it on Inferno as well. Now is on this B-sided play, just getting chopped down by that in-game leader. Just waiting things out as well. And I was saying Bad News Eagles had a bit of time before Sinners reaggressed. They could have reconsidered their options. They could have reset, redeploy some extra smokes or utility, but Beastick's position overlooked. They got off to a hot start. They finally close with a 9-6 lead. That's really going to feel good. Pistol's going to weigh things up heavily as to whether Bad News Eagles tie things up very quick or whether Sinners build on a bigger lead. 5-men middle here for Bad News Eagles.
GXX isn't noticed, so he was jump boosted across, and because of that, he's been given a space to try and find a pick. That space not used. As 4Z will force him right back to mid. Now, remember, Juan Flatru is feeling a little bit tempted to go for the stabby of the backy, and he might just be able to find it. And also the player with utility and the bomb fully exposed. Juan Flatcher is going to have such a big chance, but he doesn't realize it. Now here's the utility. Gets one, makes it two. Recovers beautifully, and now they have to move back to try and recover the bomb. Shock and Neofrag, they can't get anything from this round.
That's almost scary there for Juan, because he's so focused on the player that's in front of him. He sort of gives a cursory glance to the right, didn't spot the player deploying utility, but you're right. He hears this nade sailing out of his hands and just lines them up easy. No one even considering that fact on the side of Sinners. Wanted to go on the B exec, throw the util over the site to their detriment. Very interesting play and very interesting pistol there from Bad News Eagles. They took over that mid Dominion, and that's what gave them access to that fast flank. Got nothing. Nada, zilch, squat. Here for Sinners to work over in the second round. Just a whole load of Glocks, one flashbang, and Synopsy just shoot them down at distance. You're getting a lot of dinks on these Glocks, so still got to give them a little bit of respect.
Rigon doesn't do that. Rigon is not one known to give many things much respect in the game itself.
He also needs to heat up a little bit. I didn't even realize that he was struggling.
Yeah, he's up to 5 now after that round. And look, let's not make any mistake about it. 6 rounds is still pretty damn good on the T side. BNE are in a great position now, but this round will be where things can maybe flip on its head. Forzy on the T side, prioritizing the AWP is an interesting decision when we've talked to death about how proficient he is with the AK as well.
Help from Donut. Oh, flash blind. Great. Neofrag full blind and can't recuperate in time. His teammate ran through the smoke to try and save himself. Left him to the wolves.
Even a stray bullet around Forzy while they're at it. And Synopsy, good for 1 at the very least. And looks like it might just be more. Shock is in a position where he can't back off. The grenade's flying out. B-Stick's gone down. GXX is a little bit, shaky. But he gets the job done at the end of it all. And Forzy... Man, I'm just really surprised we're not seeing more AKs from him. Even on Inferno, we saw this prioritization of an AWP for Sinners, for Forzy coming through.
We've seen the kind of performance he's been able to put up with that AK in the group stage, but also coming into this matchup, as soon as he got that AWP in his hands as well, just continued to flourish. Yeah, I think it's just some of these long-range fights, clearing towards the A-bomb site from A main or peeking up B ramp. There's some really nice long-range fights that the scope really helps you in. Be the difference maker. Ledge play here for Sinners. Molotov deep into cave as well. Bad News Eagles cannot contest, but there's 2 players here, so once that Molotov fades, they can re-aggress.
Well, that re-aggression still ends up working out with the CTs pretty nicely. 1 flat true. Trades back in their favor. Deagle running past the smoke, and Forzy can find him inside it. Shock as well with another one. Suddenly everything falling apart. GXX has to come through and pick up the pieces.
Look down red room. Forzy's going to gun it to this B bomb side. I think GXX has the read, has a kit. No flash as well here for the CT, but a minute to bleed out here for Forzy. If he just stops and freezes, GXX is going to be in his own head about where he's gone.
Oh, Forzy. He should be able to get this backstab for... Whoa! I'm so glad we saw that from Forzy's perspective as well. GXX down to 9 HP, 8 HP rather, but goddamn.
The awareness.
Yeah.
That's full commitment. I really thought just the fact that there was going to be no audio cues, complete silence, could have gone, hey, could have ran it over to Donut. Could have gone anywhere. And it's an exchanging of headshots, but far cleaner by GXX.
If he held the Tech 9, he would have won that.
Yeah, maybe. Close enough that it would have been 1-shot headshot. I do agree.
Yeah. It's one of those things you just don't think about. Hey, I've got a rifle. Why would I hold the Tech 9? 1 flash through, good flashbang, peek forward, great damage, but it's a little bit sloppy. Good for him, though, is that B-Stick will be the next casualty, courtesy of Scenari's grenade.
They've been really liking this ledge flash and peek from cave. Whether it's been the cave players or whether they've done it when they've had mid control on the BNE side. Didn't see Sinners go for this too much outside of maybe the opening 4 or 5 rounds. BNE were very quick-paced about how they were attacking these bomb sites, so you actually have less time to make some of these sort of mid-round or early-round choices. Let's grind out into a 3-on-4, and with Shock still lurking in middle, he's hoping to find an equalizer, somebody looking for information, probing. Here from the Bad News Eagle side, Synopsy just hiding in A.
Synopsy could just completely unravel this all on his own. Just needs to get a quick pop out. Zedko move pass and Synopsy playing it too passive with the so little time left. Zedko crouch peeking forward, really nicely done. Zregon and Scenario are keeping control regardless though. Zedko, all the advantages he may have found for his team are going to be lost at this rate, especially with the flank coming in from GXX as well, and that flank won't even be put to use. Scenario takes advantage of a back that is turned away from him.
Good communication on a bait there as well. The fact that he's loud about the flank in from A main, that's the cue for Scenario to just dry peek out. You're not going to ignore steps coming in from a flank. 10 seconds left as well, had to find an answer, but this may be the solution as well for Bad News Eagles. We've seen a few times over when we've caught this squad before. Rigon, even on some of the rougher games, on that secondary AWP, can sometimes treat it like a primary. You know, he's rotating around the map, trying to find opening picks. They're running double ops here for B&E, where Sinners were so content to run one.
Oh, GXX speaks out. Zedko's gone. He's gone for a second, but it's actually the Molotov of Zedko that kills his own teammate.
I think that molly was destined for long, but he was primed in his hands and dropped at his feet.
I don't actually know if Molotovs drop from your dead hat. I don't think they do.
I think so long as they're primed, same long as a nade, they do drop.
Okay.
Same with a smoke, same with a flash, same kind of deal.
I could have sworn they changed that for a while because okay, I don't know. Because for some reason I seem to remember when I started off CS thinking that I'm super smart by just holding it primed in my hand on top of a bomb as the last CT. And it just didn't go off. Maybe it's different for Incendiary, actually.
Maybe.
I'll check that in the break.
One of those quizzical things, because I know for sure, HEs, smokes, flashes, that is the story.
Yeah.
Molotovs might be an exception. Oh, don't know. Don't really care. Teammate dies to a Molotov anyway, so we see the results of what happens over at B ramp. Scenario, or rather, Sinners. I made the same mistake you did earlier on. So many similar letters.
GXX might be giving over a bit of death over in Ali as well. It seems like Ali is just, you know, the point to avoid right now, but you can't avoid it in the map. So Central and GXX has got full control over it, along with one Flatro's earlier attempts, even a grenade inside the smoke in case someone was looking to peek out of it.
So key. That entrance to B is also pivotal in terms of taking mid control. You know, you want to pressure ledge simultaneously with these players coming out mid floor. Just getting picked apart. Run boost was fancy stuff. Say fancy. It has become a bit more of a standard, but
yeah, but we can't stop appreciating the things in life, Michael, that make us happy. You know. And Flatru peeks forward. Another one. I know it's a 5-on-2 and theoretically you shouldn't be pushing into it, but it's one flat shoot, so I want him to do it.
Also, they have the numbers advantage. Again, you know that these Bad News Eagles guys love looking for information and making initiative pushes. When they are 3 remaining in a round, they're very likely sort of grouping up together. Maybe they have one in a solitary alert, but that's still information to be gained about how to play out the round later on. Justifications for it, that is certainly sure, but GXX, stellar performance. I just feel like the timings as well. Juan is hit on the CT side. You know, he caught them boosting up in B main. Now he's double pushed, or he's pushed in mid when they're just trying to creep on by. That's a danger, a hazard.
Very quick note as well. Obviously, Sinners haven't won a single round on the T side, but 4Z's gone from 17-4 to now 20-13. So you can see sort of the impact this T side is having on him as well.
Feeling what Rigon felt first half.
Yeah. Rigon, in the meanwhile, has started to slowly recover. You know, climbing back up the ladder.
It's like, open's easy. Let me just get a couple of these kills. 3 players middle and 3 players leave. Synopsy hung around for a little bit longer. Everybody else seemed to have vacated, but didn't quite get the memo. Still trading things out, though.
They don't realize there's a player nestled in behind the boxes. Shock could actually come through really big of a one flasher if he peeks forward too aggressively. That's an AK gone and recoverable. Re-gone. Meanwhile, could be overrun. Pistols are going to be chasing him down. Zetko's got one. One flasher finds Shock regardless of his position, but it's still going to be contested as Zetko's in a one-on-one scenario. Rotating away from the A bomb site, and the bomb can be recovered. No grenades either, so can't really get an unfair fight that way.
Mega scared. Scenario could be anywhere. Playing B, flanking A main. Could have made it to Donut, could have made it to Temple. Too much to clear in not enough time to really feel satisfied with it. He's going to try and play those mind games, cutting sound, making it difficult for Scenario to read into this. He still thinks it's A. He's still convinced. Not to be sold anywhere else.
Zetko does have a Molotov as well, so if he gets his bomb plant down, he definitely has enough time to be able to get a re-navigation, but I mean, Zetko's yet to commit towards the B bomb site either. He could just end up going back inside Donut, and if he does that, well, Scenario, ooh, going into Red Room.
They were on a collision course for a sec.
Yeah. But Red Room to B side is an interesting decision because he can actually plant the bomb and get into a great spot to cover off Scenario if he chooses to come in from CT's spawn. But with 10 seconds, a commitment needs to come out soon, and Scenario's likely going to start to shift his gaze away as well. Where is he going to go from? He's going over towards the alleyway, so when the bomb will be planted, Scenario, it's going to come through not from Red Room, not from the position that Zetko's Molotov, and maybe not from the position that Zetko's going to be ready for. There's so many angles, and Zetko, he's just going to have to wait for the tap at this rate. Scenario's even got a Molotov.
Yeah, smoke as well for the bomb if he needed.
This is going to be so much damage if he just chucks it out, but he doesn't want to reveal his position. That's the biggest issue. Zenko as well, not peeking forward, playing this patiently. Molotov goes into the corner. It's not going to spread, and there is barely enough time to be able to get the defuse out. Scenario can do so nicely, but in the corner comes Zetko, and that smoke isn't quite in place. Scenario cannot find the round. Sinners will get their first on a half by no less.
Oh, the Molotov doesn't go deep enough, and the smoke goes far too wide. Thought he was covered from it, but just reading into that perfectly from Zetko, didn't have an angle to attack him from that long position, instead goes short, and it's enough. Catching the tail end of him, just the legs showing outside the smoke, enough to line it up. Didn't see that one coming, did you, Scenario? Thought he had it all done and dusted, had enough time for that defuse, you were right. Couldn't stick it. Up to double digits now, Sinners. A critical clutch to have won. One of these one-on-ones that is one of two this second half. So GXX win one out. Now Sinners have won themselves. Problem is that B&E have a lot of money built up from some of those earlier round successes. All this ledge aggression, the ways in which they've been attacking the anti-force buys as well. It'll have to be consecutive rounds here for Sinners before they can feel a little bit more comfortable at one of these gimme rounds.
The one good thing going for them is that B&E doesn't have, you know, the firm 5-digit economy built up on their players, so maybe that could end up being a factor. Synopsy caught out, brought down, and GXX is another casualty of war that wages on in mid.
Oh, eating flashbangs. B&E were full blind, and they really wanted to contest this mid position, but Sinners had so many players swinging out simultaneously. No real issues. Zetko as well hears the player rotate in from that red room spot, so all this extra info, now that he's inserted himself into that middle portion of the map. Problem is still drop ledge, so they haven't made any commitments here, just looking for the counter-react.
Well, B-Stick is on 1 point of HP, but 4Z over here. This is Red. I mean, this might just be Rigon being boxed in. The grenade, chuck forward. This might just be another 2 CT casualties coming in. Rigon wide swinging out, and the problem is going to be Zetko who's behind him. Rigon is aware of that possibility, but he's not going to fully check it, and neither is Zetko. Ships in the night.
Oh my god.
Both called incorrect. B-Stick will find Rigon, and that might just be the saving grace.
Spotting 1B, Zetko heard these players rotate. He's been keeping sharp ears out from that red room spot, so just can make sure that that bomb can go down over on the A bomb site. Juan has to have an idea that it's certainly a possibility, but Zetko finds a great timing. Was considered for just a